Hey everybody, before we start filming the machining of the pistol grip, I want to take a moment and talk about veneering and book match and why it's important to this project. Over the years, I've heard so many people talk about the virtue or the value of having a piece of furniture or maybe a guitar or anything really made out of wood, made out of a single piece of wood or a single plank. And the fact is that veneering, this idea that you've taken thin layers of veneer sliced off a larger piece of wood, it goes all the way back to the Egyptians. Civilizations have been using veneering for centuries. Now, one of the benefits to using veneering is you get to use more of the blank, more of the figure in more projects. So by using those thin veneers or those thin slices, you get to take more value from the price that you paid for that blank of wood. Now, this is an old shaving stand that was crafted somewhere in the late 1700s, early 1800s, and it is veneered. It is a crotch mahogany, and it's veneered over a substrate like maybe pine or some other local woods. And in fact, all of this veneered ring around the outside edge of the mirror is a mahogany veneer. And what makes this even more particular is that each of these little pieces were book matched so that the piece next to it, the grain flowed correctly from piece to piece, looking as though it were one continuous piece all the way around the mirror. Now, this is a guitar that I built, and this is a piece of Turkish walnut veneered over a mahogany back. And if you look carefully, you can see this is a book match veneer where there's a very fine line down through the center, and each side is a mirror image of the other side. So next I want to talk about how do you discover, set up, and cut the book match so that you get the best art out of that piece of wood. Alright, these are the two slices that I cut out of the blank in the last video. And these two are not particularly thin like you might see with a real veneer, but they're thin enough that the concepts still apply. So these two slices were cut along this line out of that blank. That way when we open them up, we get to see the mirror image of the veneer because those two surfaces were touching one another, so they came from the same section of the wood. Now what I'm going to do so that I can enhance the color and enhance the figure of the wood, I'm going to take some mineral spirits and I'm going to wipe down the surface of those cuts, and that'll help the figure sort of show up better for our discussion. So it should be clear that this feathering actually goes off in opposite directions and almost exactly mirror each other. But I also want to talk about how do you discover the art in a book match so that when you slice and bring those two veneers together, that you get the aesthetic or the look that makes the best use out of that figure in the wood. So now in this case, in order to discover where we might want to cut the veneer to get the best looking book match for the project that we're working on, we're going to use a mirror. By placing the mirror on the veneer, by manipulating the mirror, we can then get a sense of where the figure works best together. So now you'll notice that I'm moving it left and right in line with the figure itself, or I can literally begin to take the mirror and put it on an angle, and again always looking to find which is the best look and the best book match. And then when I've got a book match that I like, what I'll do is I'll take a pencil and draw a line, and that line will be the cut line for the two veneers coming together. Now for Jeff's grips, I'm less interested in having to put these two slices together so that I get a perfect book match, but I'm still interested that whether you look at it from the left or the right side, those two pieces end up being mirror images of the other. Now because these two slices came apart like this, and this is the center, I'm going to use these surfaces to be the outside surface of the grips. So now, because these two surfaces were touching each other and came from the same location in the tree, when I put them on the outside of the grip, in essence, they're going to look like they're exact mirror copies or mirror images. So now what I have to do is take these two templates that I made in an earlier episode, and I'm going to take them and overlay them onto the blanks of wood. And then by looking down through the plastic onto the blank, I can then manipulate or choose the location on the blank in the figure that's going to give the best look. Now I don't know if you can see this or not, but one of the issues I'm going to have with this is I have to find figure or feathering in this blank that scales correctly to the size of the grip. Now if we look down in this section of the grip, that figure is sort of big and broad, and as I get down into this lower surface, the feathering gets very small and tiny and tight. So I'm probably going to choose that tiny feathering and place it in the center of the grip panel because it scales best to the size of the grip panel. All right, I hope you got something out of that. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you check out Jeff's YouTube channel on Auto Resto Mod. These grips are for a 1911 Ford Jeff. So if you enjoyed the video, please click like, and I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. I got more videos coming, more projects in the wings, and I'd like to share a bunch of them with you. Until next time, thanks for watching.